very young.
This meeting is being recorded.
Klevelin is very young and she barely turned 22, and you just went on about this and this and this and this, and I went, you're too young to have had all that happen to you. It's such a short time. But it also goes to show that age isn't really you know, tells us if you can be anxious or not. We all have things that we go through. And so
and that I'm like gonna touch on, because like I said, the oils for me, I don't think they were as transformative, but I did see that difference in my little sister. I to me, it's just amazing how much anxiety a 10-year-old can have. She's 11 now, but just when we first started the products and she first started taking the capsules, the adaptive capsules, I noticed that difference immediately.
awesome.
And I can't wait to share the whole story, which I didn't put it on the slides, but I can't wait to share the story.
Oh, so good. Oh, here comes Jolene. Okay, anybody have an oil story they would like to share this week? Something that they've used the oils and it has made a difference for them. Oils or supplement or something.
I can say one.
Go for it, Mika.
All right. So, the oils that I use was Breathe, On Guard, and Purify in my room heavily, because my roommate ended up with COVID and we share a bathroom, and I was absolutely terrified of that. But that has kept me functioning and going and COVID free. So
that is awesome. Especially after all you've been through.
Yes, it was terrifying to hear that.
Yeah. So running those Breathe and On Guard, and what was the third one? Sorry. Yeah, unmuted.
Purify.
Purify. Excellent. In the diffuser. Sounds great. Anybody else have an oil story they want to share?
I just wanted to mention that today on the doTerra webinar, they mentioned using Purify in boys' rooms, because teenage boys just have that wonderful aroma that comes out of their rooms.
Ew.
So if any of you have teenage boys, get that Purify going in their room.
We have Janie and Ethan living with us, and I need to get into the closet in Ethan's room sometimes because my sewing stuff's in there. I'm just like, yeah, we'll air out this room later when they leave. It's okay, Janie. I love it. But that's a very good point. Purify is great for that. Okay. Anybody else have something they want to share? Glenda. You're muted, my dear. Unmute so we can hear you. I know that.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So I think I heard you say last week that clary sage was good for pain. Is that right?
It can be. It can be very good for pain. It's a very calming. Yeah. So what have you done?
Okay. So I've had a lot of back problems and back pain. And well, first of all, my knees were hurting so bad one night I couldn't sleep. And so I got my bottle and I put some drops on there and rubbed it in. I don't know if that's how you put it on, but that's what I did. And it almost instantly, they stopped hurting so I could sleep. And so the other day when my back was really bad and really hurting, I put some on my back and it has felt better too. So
yes. So isn't it great? You heard clary sage. It probably wouldn't have been my first go-to for pain, but it helped you, which is fantastic. And yeah. So that's the thing. Somebody told me a story once, and this is kind of odd, but I can't remember where they get lemon. I think it's France. But they said the people there use lemon for everything. They use it for a cold. They use it for a headache. They use it because it's prevalent. And I believe all these oils help our body in so many different ways that we can be very blessed. So what a joy you used clary sage and got that kind of pain relief. I love it. Love it. All right, Becky, glad you got on too. It's good to see you. And I'm going to introduce our speaker tonight. Oh, first I wanted to tell you just a little bit more about this new product. So I studied up a little bit on it, and if you, there's not a lot of information out yet because doTerra, of course, isn't giving it to us until convention. But it's called MetaPower, PWR, which stands for Personal Wellness Recognized. And it is going to, they've been researching it and scientifically in creating it for the last many years, and they're just announcing it. They're giving us a little heads up that it's coming because they want us to be ready to go the second we get it in our hands, and to get the convention kit in September. Most new products are available October 1st, but I don't know when all the dates and times will be. But this product is, oops, gotta pay attention. People need to come in. This product is multifaceted because it's a Slim and Sassy bumped up, but it's called MetaPower now. So it's similar to Slim and Sassy, and it helps with our blood sugar. It helps with energy. It helps with cravings, food cravings and things. So we're able to use it. It's going to come in gum and beadlets. We're going to have a third kind of beadlets, and it's going to come in the oil. It's also going to come in a supplement so that we can take it to help with cravings and some of those blood sugar issues. It's also going to have a MetaPower powder that has collagen in it. And the people that have been on it for a long time and in all their research and their studies have had skin improvement. They have had energy improvement, weight loss. Now, we're not going to say, hey, we have the weight loss answer, but you can darn well be sure that I'll be trying it on a regular basis to see if it helps with weight loss. We're kind of encouraging everybody to get it and try it for a month. And another thing they say is you will feel a difference within days. They said people that try it feel a difference within 3 or 4 days. So I'm just darn excited, and I'm going to be mentioning it just a little bit every time we get together because I want you to get excited to try it too. Oh, metabolism. It's very much the basis is what it's talking about is helping regulate our metabolism. And how great is that they've got something that's going to do that for us. So very excited. That'll be coming up soon. And hi, Val. We're glad you're here, Val. We are going to introduce Klevelin tonight. Now, Klevelin is new to our team. Probably about a year now. Might be a year, maybe almost a year.
Over.
Okay, so Klevelin is our youngin, and we love to feed off her energy. She has so much energy and desire to be natural in her life at a young age. She's a great example for all of us. And when she found doTerra, she didn't find us first. She found doTerra first. She researched the company. She researched the product. She fell in love with it all, but didn't know how to get involved. And her husband happened to be fixing air conditioning at the Levitt's home and see the doTerra around the room. And thus, Klevelin is now living in the Levitt's home in their extra bedrooms and doing doTerra with us and sharing and teaching. And we are very lucky to have her with us. She is young, but she is a mama of 1, soon to be 2. And she is very, very well versed in the oils and going to get great information for us tonight. So turn time over to you, Klevelin.
All right. Hi, guys. So I was saying earlier, I don't necessarily think that the oils were very transformative. For me personally, I do think they definitely helped, and they still help me with my baby so much. However, the reason why I thought this was very important for each was because I have a 11-year-old sister who started buying oils under me, and the very first thing that she bought was the BOGO box back in March, and that came with the adaptive capsules. And because she needed some money, we said, we'll split everything, including the capsules. But once I saw how much it helped her, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna split that with her. She needs that more than I do. I have gone to therapy and I found other ways to cope, but when I tried teaching these methods to my little sister to help her cope, they were just not really working for her. Everybody copes differently. Everybody goes through traumas and they affect us in different ways. And for a 10-year-old at that time, I didn't necessarily think that she had any reason to have so much anxiety. And it wasn't until I sat down and I talked to her and I asked her, like, why do you feel so anxious? What do you think is triggering this anxiety for you? And at the beginning, she couldn't really point out those triggers for herself either. But I slowly started to notice that she's the youngest one of us. She's 11. There's 5 of us. The oldest one is 30. The next one is 28. Then myself, 22. The 18-year-old, and then her. So there's a gap between all of us, right? But one of the biggest things is we're a big family, and it's mostly boys. It's just me and her as girls. And for me, growing up, seeing my brothers fight was not a crazy thing. Like, that was just like a daily thing. Boys wrestle. They like to play fight or whatnot, and sometimes those play fights got out of control, right? But for my little sister, she was very sheltered from that. She came into our family when that phase in my brother's lives had pretty much passed. Everybody was kind of living on their own by that time, and she wasn't used to it. And so one of the things I noticed was that when we would have family gatherings at my mom's home, it wasn't anymore like physical fights or anything like that, but rather arguing. And for my little sister, that was very triggering. She was so used to having loving siblings individually, so she couldn't understand why when we came together to connect as a family, there was always some type of conflict that would cause her this trauma. And, she's also in a new generation, which they have moved in very deep into technology and social media. So that's also very anxiety inducing for her. She's gone into middle school now, which for her 5th grade, it was easier than she expected, but the buildup to graduation or leaving 5th grade was very anxiety inducing because she was afraid she wasn't going to see her friends anymore. So a lot of changes for a 10-year-old. And then all this turbulence with family and everything going on in her social media life or whatnot, it was costing her a lot of anxiety. And I very quickly noticed when she started taking the adaptive capsules, not only was she no longer walking into a room and doing this with her fingers and this with her hands, where she does this motion where she puts her hands together and starts popping every single one of her knuckles and starts twirling at her hair, or she just she gets so overwhelmed and so overstimulated that she blanks. You can be talking to her directly and she blanks out because she's just so overwhelmed and so overstimulated. And pretty much from day 3 of her taking those capsules early in the morning before she went to school, I noticed that by the time she came back home, not only was she able to tell me what she did throughout the day in very good detail, but she was also able to have a conversation with me without doing the thing with her fingers. And she would see all the family gather and she wouldn't immediately shut down and want to leave the room, and she wanted to engage. And I found that amazing because my little sister I love her. I love her so much. She's the baby of the family. And I prayed when my mother told me she was pregnant. I prayed for a little sister because I just wanted a little sister. And I remember when she was around 8 months old, she had a fever, and I was only 11 at the time. She had a fever. I was feeding her, but I also had her wrapped up in a blanket. And if anybody knows anything about babies and fevers, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep the baby, cool. Well, this blanket and me holding her and feeding her caused her to have a seizure. And I thought at that moment, I killed my little sister. I was so terrified. And I remember when the ambulance came and they took her away, I dropped down on my knees and I prayed and I said, anything that is meant for my little sister, please, I will take it. Because I do not want to lose my little sister. And with her anxiety, I feel like that's what's happening. Losing my little sister without really being able to do anything. And so when my coping mechanisms didn't work, when I just started interacting less with my sister, and then adaptive came along and I was able to hold a really good conversation with her. She was able to explain her feelings to me, explain her day to me, tell me about her day, and not freak out. I thought that was just wonderful. And we're working on her continuing not only the adaptive capsules, but also other oils, which I will show you in my presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys.
Yeah, I was curious if she uses the adaptive roll-on or the oil itself.
She doesn't use the adaptive oil just yet. She uses the capsules because it's a lot easier for her to just in the morning take one before she goes to school, or just take them with her to school. But she uses lavender. Lavender was the first oil that I gave to her in a roller. And every night her little routine was putting it behind her ears, putting it on her feet, and putting it on her, and just taking 5 minutes to herself before she went to bed to do that self-care. And she loved it. And she bought lavender of her own, and the BOGO box came with a lot of great oils, and she has been learning to use each and every single one of them.
Excellent.
Alrighty, so calming anxious feelings. Everybody experiences anxious feelings from time to time, but some of us worry more than others, and excess worry can interfere with daily life. Essential oils can soothe anxious feelings and help you calm worries. These are some of the recommended products that doTerra has for anxiety. And I stand and live by that adaptive because I know how much it's helped my sister. However, I personally have used to balance. It's one of those oils that when I wake up in the morning and there's just something in my gut telling me that something is going to go wrong, which usually that gut feeling isn't wrong, but that anxiousness just kind of takes over my whole day. So balance is one of those that I love to use. And frankincense, even though I don't necessarily love the smell of frankincense, I love the effects that it has. And I actually use frankincense for other issues that I have as well. I have a benign pituitary tumor, and the frankincense has actually been what I use for my headaches. And I apply right in between the eyebrows, just about an inch above, right in the middle of the forehead, and I apply, and I have not had those crazy killing me headaches since I started using the frankincense. So
Klevelin, did you know that we have an upline, Cheyenne Hathaway, that has that same thing, and that her tumor has actually shrunk half the size over her 10 years of using frankincense?
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I actually was diagnosed with it when I was like 13, 14. I was working at that time. I was working at a restaurant, but I was also going to high school. And I was very stressed out, and I was having nosebleeds, and I just thought the nosebleeds were because I was stressed. And then I found out that it was because of this. And then I had some other health issues as well that helped pinpoint that that's what the issue was. But they actually told me, and I feel like I share this every time we have a class, actually told me that because of this pituitary issue, I was not going to be able to have children. It told me it's going to be very hard for you to conceive. So October 2020, I got off my birth control, and by February, I was pregnant. So, and this was before I found frankincense, but I started, as soon as I found the doTerra products and I got my box, frankincense was one of the oils that was in there, and I started using it immediately.
That's
Because
awesome.
I already read that frankincense had so many great uses, and one of them was that pituitary, helping with tumors. So
Right.
I love frankincense and the power that it has. Don't always love the smell, but
Yeah.
love frankincense.
Awesome. For anybody that can't read, because your pictures are a little small, I'm putting it in the chat. Just so if you can't quite, I'm so familiar with the colors that I can easily see. So look in the chat if you need to know what these products are.
So that is cedarwood, lavender, frankincense, the adaptive system, which includes the adaptive touch, adaptive capsules, and the adaptive oil, as well as the doTerra balance. And balance is, again, one of my favorites. I love the smell of balance. And I think I don't use it as often, which I think it's because I only have the small bottle, the 5 milliliter bottle, but I love the smell of balance. And that one is one that if I could use it as like perfume every day, I would, but I don't. Instead, I bought the balance deodorant, which I love. All right. So here are some tips that can help you on using these oils, these products, to help your anxiety. Take one adaptive calming blend capsule daily to combat stress, tension, and occasional anxious feelings. Add 3 to 4 drops of adaptive calming blend to a relaxing Epsom salt bath, which that I have done, especially after the baby was born, after my daughter was born, and I was living with my mom. The midwife recommended that I do an Epsom salt bath, and she told me if you have oils that you think will help you, I would really recommend that you put them in your water. And I did balance, I did lavender, and I did the adaptive calming blend on there. I really, anybody knows anything about having a newborn, it's so stressful. It's so stressful. It's such a wonderful time, but there's no sleep. There's no sleep.
Yep.
Roll adaptive touch onto the wrists and temples whenever you feel the need to gain composure quickly. And also, some people don't really like the smell. It's also recommended to use the bottom of the feet because it works just as great. But for a quick fix, it is recommended to do the temples and the wrists. Take 1 to 2 drops of lavender in a glass of water to help reduce anxious feelings. I really recommend that when you're putting lavender in your water that you are very careful how many drops you're adding on there. Because I did not realize when I started taking lavender in my water, I did not realize how strong it is. I was putting 8 drops in my 32-ounce bottle. And I was just drinking it every day and refilling it before it got empty. And I was like, why do I feel so tired? Why do I want to sleep all the time? And my husband was like, it's probably because you're pregnant. And for a while, it went on like that. And then my husband was like, I'm feeling very tired too. I don't think it's because I'm pregnant. But quickly realized 8 drops of lavender in 32 ounces is way too much. Apply doTerra Cheer to your wrists and neck to promote feelings of optimism. And put a drop of doTerra Balance on your pillow at night to promote relaxation and help soothe worried thoughts. And that one is also one that I used to do. I don't do as much anymore because I love the smell of Balance, but my pillow doesn't always belong to me. So.
And some other great tips in the chat Lee's putting in there. So keep your eye on the chat, everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Lavender is high in linalool, and when taken internally, reduces anxious feelings. Its calming aroma can also help cut through feelings of stress and promote relaxation. doTerra Balance creates a sense of calm and well-being. It blends grounding wood oils with frankincense and blue tansy. Blue tansy's scent helps uplift mood, while frankincense promotes feelings of peace and relaxation. doTerra Balance is a powerful tool for counteracting cycles of worry and fear. Apply it to your wrists or neck to ease anxious feelings. doTerra Cheer is another helpful product for anxious feelings. This blend was designed to counteract negative emotions while promoting feelings of optimism. Cedarwood is another essential oil that can be very helpful. It has calming and relaxing aroma that can be used to evoke feelings of wellness and soothe worry. And now for the kids, I personally love to use Brave, which is why I added it on here. I love to use it with my daughter because I don't know. I get very anxious when I leave her with my mom or when she goes with her aunt. And it's not because I don't think that they can do the job. I worry, like, what if she's crying and she wants me, but I'm not there? It's my anxiety that kind of, she's not having any anxious feelings. That's all on me. But the routine of putting it on her chest and putting it on her feet and singing to her before she goes off on her adventure with grandma or her adventure with auntie definitely helps me. So I'm sure it helps her. But Steady is also another one that is very good. I just personally love Brave because I love the smell of osmanthus, and Brave has that smell. But for Steady, calming aroma encourages resolve during times of distress. Used to create a balanced ambiance applied to the back of the neck or bottoms of the feet after an event-filled day. And comfortably use Brave Courage Blend throughout the day to encourage tranquility. Use Brave before new or different situations for an atmosphere of courage and confidence. Alrighty, and that concludes my presentation. If anybody has any questions, please ask away. And I'm sure if I can't answer your questions, Shalene and everybody else will be able to help.
I'm curious what other things people have used for anxiety beyond what Klevelin shared, because I know there's lots of things.
I use Rose because I saw it on Sherry's page. I've been using Rose and something else. I can't remember what it is, but Rose was added to my life. I had the roller, so I've been using that.
Love that roller, man. The real bottle of orange costs so much, and it's only a 5 ml. And I did finally get it with points, but I don't like the smell of it. It's just so very strong. But the diluted roller is amazing for calming. I agree, Mika. It's just not one a lot of us afford to have very much. Yep. Anything else that people use? You use? I would love to know about tactics and other things you do for helping anxiety. I've come to do a lot of breathing in my life lately. I find that when I go to sleep, to calm my mind down, I immediately, without even thinking, I start to take very deep breaths and I call it starfish. And I start to do this because when I'm awake, not when I'm falling asleep, I do this, and I teach actually my grandchildren to breathe in and out and in and out 5 times very slowly. It's a very visual way that they can learn to do it too. And then by the time they're done taking 5 completely deep breaths, they're usually calmed down if they're anxious about something or frustrated or upset. So I don't know, breathing is a big one for me, Klevelin.
Copaiba is a good thing too. I don't know if she mentioned Copaiba and I missed that, but
Definitely.
Copaiba is also very good. I use Copaiba for my daughter's teething, and I use it so often that she knows exactly what it's for. So when I pull the bottle out and she sees me putting it on my finger, she's reaching for it because she knows that I'm gonna apply it, and I know it definitely helps her.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Leanne put in the chat that she likes vetiver and serenity for anxiety as well. Yep. The calming oils that help us sleep, I think also help with anxiety, but I think it's interesting to your point. Don't use too much or you will put yourself to sleep.
Yeah, I have
Well,
two
I don't
other
know. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Klevelin.
I have two other techniques that I learned in therapy for whenever I'm having such anxiety that I'm about to go into a panic attack, or sometimes I've had very vivid dreams that when I wake up, I have anxiety because I just don't know if I'm still asleep or if I'm awake. So one of the techniques that I learned was to use your senses, right? So 5 things that I can see, 4 things that I can touch, 3 things that I can smell, 2 things that I can taste, and if I can't find anything that I can hear or whatnot, just go back to that and just continue to like center yourself and bringing myself back to my present situation, what is here, what is now. That has definitely helped. But I've also learned that weight, when you apply pressure to your chest, it helps with your calm your nervous system down. And I've actually been at night with my daughter because she's been struggling to sleep, and the weighted blanket has helped. But I've also noticed that when I put my arm with a fist over her chest and just let my arm just go limp, and put that heaviness of my arm on her chest, she is kind of forced to take deeper breaths and then hence calm down and go back into a relaxing sleep.
I've never heard of that before. That is so
That's a
interesting.
great technique. That's an excellent technique. Yeah, those weighted blankets are really, really good. And I did put in the chat a link to Dr. Damaris's EO technique, which if you want to check that out, it is a great way to use the oils and a very good technique for using them to help with anxiety and emotional stress.
So I'm going to bring up something else since we have a few more minutes. I hope that's okay. So Klevelin, you said panic attacks, and I have had panic attacks in my life, probably less than 10, but they're very scary for me. And I always get them when I'm asleep or laying down. So I don't know if that's common. No, is that not common, Becky? Anyway, it's very scary to me because the heart starts racing and I can't get it to stop. And so all I've come to do when I start to get one is sit up and take deep breaths. Now, if I do it quick enough when I feel it coming on, I can nip it in the bud. I can, oh my goodness, I think and I have to sit up and really slowly take deep breaths. But I just wonder, does everybody have those? Does it need, nobody, is that, I was kind of hoping everybody would go, yeah, I've had that happen too.
I've had panic attacks, and my very first panic attack was about a month after I got married, and we moved out to Temple, and I was just freaking out because I didn't have my family, and it was my first time. Not only did I just marry someone new, but I was away from my family, and I had a panic attack. And my husband, that is where I got the idea of the weight on my daughter's chest, because my husband just wrapped his arms around me and just put pressure. And it wasn't that he was squeezing me or anything. It was just, he was applying pressure, and that forced me to slow down my breathing and really feel my body, feel myself again, and then come back to one, come back to center. And I've had, ever since, maybe I've had 2 more. When I found out I was pregnant for the first time, because again, I was told I wasn't gonna be able to have children. So I was depressed, very depressed, because I couldn't sleep for like 2-3 weeks. I couldn't hold anything down. And I was weight. And then I find out I'm pregnant, and I was like, what is happening? This isn't my body. This isn't me.
And I hope it's not too embarrassing to tell everybody she's expecting child number 2. This person told who she couldn't have children is expecting child number 2 4 days from the first birthday of child number 1.
Oh yeah.
So
Not embarrassing at all.
Yeah.
I that my daughter's gonna have a friend.
you bet.
She needs a friend
You
that'll
bet.
her.
And it's going to be another girl, which is just a true joy. I had two sets of my kids 18 months apart, and they are the best of friends. It is a great thing. Oh my goodness. Anybody else have an experience with anxiety or the oils or anything that they want to share?
I like Leanne's comment here about getting on LLV, and when she was on it for about a year, she almost never had panic attacks again.
Love it. Thank you. I didn't catch that one. I got caught up. Oh my
I think
goodness.
LLV is, well, it's for everything. And I think often we don't think of that. We think, oh, it's a supplement, it's for our physical health, but it helps us emotionally as well.
Yep.
As do all of the oils, even when we're using them for a physical purpose, they help us emotionally as well.
Yeah, when Jolene taught a class a couple weeks ago or last week, I can't remember, and she talked a lot about the emotional reasons, I was kind of taken back. I was like, oh, she's going to go the emotional route with each of the oils that she talked about. And she said something. She said, if you watch what they have concluded are the emotional reasons for each oil, they're related to the physical things that the oils help us with. Thought that was very interesting. I had never thought of that before. And I think it's really true. We're just so blessed. Every time I smell an oil, Janie had hope you don't mind I say, Janie, that she had a symphony of the cells done by Patty in my house today, and they used my room. And they were like, man, the whole room smells good. You know, you get this sense of wellness when you smell the oils, and they just bring you a sense of, I'm giving my body something healthy. These plants, we're plants in some ways, and we just mesh together well. So such a blessing. Okay. Thank you, Klevelin, for wonderful information tonight. Certainly love the discussion and all of the suggestions. Next Tuesday is a little bit different. We don't do this very often, but we're having an in-person at my house, and we're playing bingo. So those that are close by, please come by and play bingo with us. It'll be doTerra bingo. It'll be just learning things about oils and how they work, as well as some really fun prizes. So come and join from 7 to 8 playing bingo. Those that are far away, we will miss you, but the following Tuesday, you won't want to miss, because the following Tuesday, I think is Rhonda. No, Christine. Christine's going to be doing a great class about a wake-up routine and a going to sleep routine with the oils, and giving us ideas of how we can get the oils more in our lives. So those of you far away, make sure you join us in 2 weeks. And those close by, please come join us for the bingo. And thanks for all the great information and being here. Stay on for the business if you'd like to join us for the business portion tonight. All right. We're going to have just a tiny discussion about MetaPower and how we can use the new product that's coming out with doTerra to help people and to help ourselves. Now, we can just talk about it as, what are you excited about for it yourself? Or we can talk about how, I want to tell you a few of the ways I've seen people using it already, but I'm curious what you're excited about with the new product coming out.
I'm excited about energy.
Energy, having more energy. And they say that the people that have tried it do LLV and still feel even more energy on this new product. So if we have the benefit of LLV and the product, yeah. So energy, what else? What are you excited about?
Well, I'm just gonna say it. I know I'm already really thin, but I will be happy if I lose like 5 pounds
Oh.
right in my stomach, you know? So
Yes, you are thin and you don't need that, but
And I bet you do lose it right in your stomach.
I bet you do too. Yeah, Klevelin, you are going to have a baby right after getting this new product. That's interesting.
Yeah, and if there's one thing that definitely helps people buy a product is a mom with a new baby who's losing weight.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I'm kind of excited because I feel like it'll get me on another another rampage to lose weight. I've gone up and down so many times through my life, but I've pretty much stayed the same now for the last couple of years. And so I kind of feel like I'm ready for something new and I'm ready to try something new. And so if it does help me lose weight, I think it will help our business. I think it'll be something that we'll be able to say, yes, I felt energy. And in taking this product, we aren't going to be depriving ourselves of food. Hopefully we'll be eating right and exercising and doing the things we should be doing, but hopefully we'll be able to have some weight loss that will be visible and people will say, so what you doing? And we can say doTerra, which will be super cool.
And you know what? I think it would be great if we get like before and after pictures for our Instagram page.
So we all need to do that. Sherry really encouraged that. So I didn't do her form yet. Leanne, did you do her form?
No, I didn't.
well,
Okay.
she asked for feedback, and so I gave her feedback to add a question and refine it a little bit. So I don't think
Okay.
it's the final draft yet.
Got it. Got it. I
Um,
wondered why you had seen it. Okay.
Also, I remember them saying it was safe for pregnancy. So I'm curious, are you going to be doing it while you're pregnant, Klevelin?
Well, if doTerra says it's safe for pregnancy, then yes, I'm gonna go ahead and try it. If it ends up that I can't keep it down while I'm pregnant, or if it doesn't really do a whole lot for me, then I can stop and then resume afterwards. But I think it can only help, right? Like it's all natural, so it can only help.
Yep.
And if it's gonna give me in that last month or so, then I'm all
Yes,
for that.
please.
So do you guys know, it's Meta Power, META, and then PWR. And I want to say Meta Power. I think they're going to call it Meta Power, but it's the PWR doesn't stand for power. So I'd love, I'm hoping I wrote it down right. I have it meaning personal wellness recognized. Is that what
Right.
you guys got?
That's it.
Okay. So I think that's something for us all to remember too, because that's really good point, that this is about our wellness and recognizing that we can.
I think a lot of the emphasis, which I appreciated at my age, when they introduced it, was living better longer, not just younger and living longer, because we're all going to live longer, just because we have the benefit of so many better things in our lives than our ancestors did. So our longevity is increasing. That doesn't mean we're living fun, healthy lives. So I really enjoyed the focus on the Meta Power being able to bring us that wellness and help us not only to live longer, but to live healthier, better lives.
Yeah.
And Klevelin, I just can't imagine how wonderful it would be to have something to give you energy right after that baby's born, because you're going to find it's different when you have two of them.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot more tiring when you have two of them in the house than when you have one. So
is a real thing that I've heard about, and I have a lot of what's the word? I have a lot of confidence in myself that I'm going to be able to handle this, but I'm also taking it very seriously because I can't imagine what I'm getting myself into. So
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.